It's the Smite Pro League, powered by Curse Voice. Gandhi, joined by Adonis. It's been a long time, my friend.
I missed you. They made me cast with Brandon and Hindu Man.
You've aged well.
I cried inside.
You look great,
every
though.
time.
It looks like you went outside and even got some sun.
No, that didn't happen.
No, the puppy hasn't been bringing you out?
It's the lights.
Oh, yeah.
The puppy. No, I just opened the door. I'm like, go. There's sun there. Have fun.
Puppy neglect, man. Well, it's time to take a look at NA standings. Why? Well, because we have the final match of the day, which is going to be North America. AFK sitting pretty on top. Cloud9 directly behind them. And Cloud9 actually plays today.
Yep, they're qualified. TSM and Denial are the ones fighting for the last land spot. But today, it's all about enemy trying to avoid relegations. They're 0-10, so they're the bottom seed currently. They're going to have to win out against Cloud9 and then face Legion of Carrots next week and hope to 2-0 them.
Yeah, go ahead and break down the yellow and red for us here, Kevin.
Quick look. Yellow means you are facing relegations and you cannot qualify for LAN. Red means you are in relegation. Green means you have qualified for LAN. Color
Thank
coding.
you, Kevin. You're so good at what you do.
I mean, I'm good at like 4 things. So I gotta be really good at the 4 things.
To be fair, breaking down those kind of things suck. Because it's like, all right, well, this team beats this team, and then this team has played this team. I've gone cross-eyed.
Remember last split when it came down to the final week when it was best of 3s for God knows what reason, and all the teams were within 1 of each other, and it was like, there was actually like, I think someone broke it down. There was 55 different outcomes based on the final week alone, depending on who 3-0'd who, when, where, and why. Thank God it's best of 2s.
It's like a math problem.
Yeah,
not worth.
I gave up on math.
Well, guys, Cloud9 is facing off against enemy Esports. We're hopping into picks and bans, not P's and B's. Why? Because it's me and Adonis. We believe in picks and bans, baby.
Okay, next time we do that, just don't even mention P's and B's. We just need to kill it completely.
Oh, you want to just kill it? We need to come up with our own thing. Our own jaunty tune. Cloud9 sporting the order side. Enemy Esports, well, they'll be on Chaos. That'll be giving Awesome to the Max the counter pick option.
If they elect to go it.
If they do.
Most teams have been electing to do the counter pick in solo lane, but a few times it hasn't gone that way.
Doesn't really seem like it's more or less the fact that every team just has an insanely strong solo laner.
Yeah, across the board, North American solo laners have improved so much. Where last season, especially the beginning, before Divios really came to his full self, it was all about the European solos.
For sure.
NQ, Game Hunter, Sio when he made the transition, the top solo laners, Azalea as well, all in Europe. Now North America, they have these upcoming stars in Awesome to the Max.
Well, taking a look at the bans here, it was Athena and Isis for Cloud9, Sylvanas and Geb on the side of enemy Esports, trying to shred away everything they can from the birthday boy, Jeff Hinla. Happy birthday, my friend. As Janus will be the first pick, Sobek and Thor locked in. So Sobek could be going into the solo lane, could be a support. He's very strong at both.
Sobek?
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Sobek is a bad pick, but you very rarely see it picked up in that 2nd, 3rd position.
Especially since, well, Athena, oh no, she's gone. No, she's gone. It's not bad.
I guess they wanted to get that support and knowing that Cloud9 would either look to go for it or pick it up. But it's going to be Bacchus. We actually haven't seen Jeff play this in a long time.
It's his favorite.
It's his favorite god. He doesn't get to play it. I think they wanted all these bans just so he could play it.
Yeah, right? It's just the birthday celebration. But already looking at it here, Cloud9, you can see some guaranteed synergy here between the Bacchus and the Bellona, right? Bacchus comes in, belly flops with Intoxicate, which gives Bellona an easy job to set up with Eagle's Rally.
One thing we need to look at, too, is Cloud9 might be looking to go Jablanque. That's even a stronger synergy. The fact that Bacchus is Intoxicate means you can't stop moving, synergizes very well with Darkest of Nights. Jablanque ults, and if you're still moving when it goes off, you're stunned. So we could look to see and enemy smartly bans that away. They recognize that.
Well, one thing that's important to note here is that Omega actually prefers to run the Bellona into the solo lane, where we have seen junglers such as Weekend prefer to grab the Bellona and run into the jungle. But the one thing I do like about this is that Sobek going into Bellona, you can kind of just stalemate the lane. You're very, very safe as Sobek.
Yes.
Which is smart. You're not going to outplay Omega on one of his favorite gods right now.
Especially when you go Vanguard early on. You're very tanky. The base numbers on your abilities can clear the way for the most part. Apollo locked in for enemy, though. So it's a little bit of some global presence from both teams. Janus picked up by Cloud9, but Thor with the semi-global and Apollo with the full global. Apollo's very strong with the nerf to Bluestone. He was already very good with Death Toll. He was very good at auto-attacking, clearing the waves, and now he's even stronger since Ability Hunters took that hit.
Medusa gets picked up here for Cloud9, and whew! Andenster will be able to grab Serqet. Now, the one thing looking at Cloud9 here is they are going to be very strong in the mid game. They're also going to have Bellona, which will help them in the early game, but this isn't a Bellona jungle. So she's not going to have as much impact as she would if she was in the jungle role and the solo role, but regardless, they can rely on Bellona to at least get going there, which will help Serqet kind of get to that mid-stage game where she accelerates at.
Neith, the final lock-in for enemy. Surprised that it made it this far, considering how teams have really grown to prioritize her, either banning her out or first picking her or second picking her. She very rarely makes it through the second banning phase without being at least looked at, but it's the final lock-in for enemy. It's going to be likely the solo Neith.
Solo Neith? Nah, no. That's a mid Neith.
It's a mid Neith. I forgot they don't have a mage.
Yeah.
I realized that finally. I'm like, wait, they don't have a mage. I'm like, hi-rez, Sobek.
Speaking of mages, look how good that Poseidon card looks.
He looks
I'm
manly.
such a Poseidon fanboy.
Poseidon?
Poseidon. So Neith will be going into the mid, so that clear going up against Janus, she does have to be a little bit careful, but she has almost in parity with him with clear just because of how her kit is.
Yep. And she's going to actually be going Bluestone start, so no Death Toll for the Neith mid. She is a ability-based hunter. She has no steroid in her kit to enhance her auto attacks.
Correct.
And that hit to Bluestone might come into play here. We might see Jerby run out of mana relatively quickly. Awesome to the max. He placed a ward over speed buff, and he's still... Okay, he backed. I thought he was just sitting there looking to pick someone off, but he's going to back in.
He was just dropping it, let him get some information down at the beginning.
They want to know if they're getting invaded, basically.
Oh, so here's one thing that I wanted to bring up after watching yesterday's game. The Transcendence Rush we're seeing out of Hunters here. I read a little thing on Reddit about the kind of the deviations between
math builds.
Yeah, well, I got into the math, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. Right.
So I do want to talk about this, because I was talking with Peckies and Hinduman about it during your last cast, because I'm not the biggest fan of this, but they really like it.
Okay.
Math-wise, Transcendence is going to give you a bigger power spike. Basically, when you finish it, you're going to be hitting harder than the other hunter.
Exactly.
Even when he finishes his stacking items.
All right.
Once the stacking items are completed, though, you're going to be swinging harder with Devos or Heartseeker because of you're basically spending 300-400 less gold. You're going to be able to buy other items. But the important thing there, look at the potions Barracuda and Barracuda's going to have. He's going to have 3 health. Yeah. He's going to be able to take poke and push out the enemy hunter looking for early rotations as a team.
Yeah, whereas VDM only has 1 potion.
And it's a mana potion.
Yeah, not a health potion at all, which is a little bit curious. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're going to be spamming the abilities, which you're going to have to versus Barracuda since he's going to be running the Medusa, probably definitely worth, as we will see Omega just go ahead and clear. And they shove this lane up so fast, and Anitzer hits this rotation, and I think Omega is going to be joining him, possibly going for the back camps.
I thought he was as well, but he's
just too slow.
They would have to clear that lane instantly to warrant him rotating.
Stealth playing Janus here, loving the mobility on this god. And at the beginning of Season 2, everyone's like, oh, well, you know, we don't really like Janus. And then they realized, oh, yeah, he's pretty damn strong. And now you will see them go for the back Harpies, and Thor is nowhere to be found. He is still in lane. He was preoccupied there with the Bellona. Omega doing an amazing job, and Jerby trying to strip away the back Harpies.
That's important. It's small, but Spirit Arrow is on cooldown. He's not going to be able to clear this wave as quickly, and Annister and Stealth might get the wave even further ahead. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it gets shoved up. And, you know, one of the better things about Janus is that situation when you steal the back Harpies and you're coming back into lane, you have kind of a death trap right there in that little narrow passageway. So you just throw a portal and you're like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm here. What's up?
And like I said, it was small, but he used Spirit Arrow. He wasn't able to clear the wave efficiently, and Anitzer recognized that and was able to quickly quickly take the other back Harpies.
That's really, really big. So already the experience lead is definitely in favor here of Cloud9, as Anitzer's already level 5.
At 2 minutes.
And Anitzer, he's just no joke anymore. I mean,
anymore.
I'm just saying, I always forget about Anitzer, and then I watch him, and then I'm like, oh my god, you're god. Right? Like,
basically.
Like yesterday, like Garz, I was like, okay, I'm definitely not worthy of watching you. And then like now I'm like, okay, Anitzer, Yeah, you're definitely.
I mean, Anister, I think he's having a much better split than he was in the spring, and I think it's reflected in Cloud9's score. They 2-0 TSM. They still have to face AFK next week, but right now they've only taken one loss all split.
They face them at LAN.
Yes,
here in
Atlanta.
Guys come out here. We get to party with Cloud9 guys. Is now.
We could celebrate Jeff's birthday.
Yeah, just only a week late. That's not bad.
Fine.
So mid-Harpy's coming up here. Cloud9 in a perfect spot to take both. We will see enemy Esports Chris Pocket rotate for the
Thor's
left
in
side.
the air, though.
Thor takes to the sky. Jeff Hinla going for it here. Hand of the Gods not used. As now Flying Renar is going to be there. The Barracuda's in a good position. Through space and time will hit. Jeff Hinla trying to get there. He's not able to do so. Barracuda picks up one. The Chariot has been called. And now in comes crashing down his Vedium as now Eagles Rally will hit. Chris Pocket trying to run away. It's not enough, though, as he still manages to get taken down by Omega.
Vedium, he's getting low, too. Barracuda actually dashes into the middle of 3. Jerby's going to pick up that kill as Vedium escapes. But now at 3 versus 2, can Cloud9 find any more kills? And it looks like they can.
Threshold OP.
Anister finds the final. He actually jumps forward. He's like, Vedium, did you stay?
Yeah.
He didn't, though. So
let's just go ahead and talk about this threshold placement from Stealth. That secured the kill. 100%.
I want to go back a step. Stealth should have died. Stealth should have died that fight. We saw Awesome to the Max rotate under an ult. And for those who don't know, Sobek can actually activate his ult early, but for a lessened damage.
Yep.
Which didn't really matter considering Stealth had about 100 health. Awesome to the Max holds it for more damage, trying to hit multiple players, and Stealth did just what he just did there. He portaled to safety.
Yep. Stealth managing to stay alive yet again, as now we will see the speed buff gets taken here by Anister Jeff Hinla, able to leech off of this experience, which he will definitely be happy about. Supports never complain about free experience.
Never.
No, they prefer it. Watcher's gift for both supports here. We're not seeing the Mark of the Vanguard start up at all, as Omega will get tail whipped in the lane, and he will rotate and go ahead and look for his blue buff.
So something to note here is that we see that Transcendence was finished by Barracuda. He was able to get the mid-Harpies XP. Additionally, he was able to pick up a kill. So now he's going to be stronger than Vedium in response.
Wow.
Awesome.
Look at this. Awesome to the max. Neith Arrow is going to try to get blocked there by Omega, but their eyes are on the blue buff. Awesome to the max. Very, very low. Flying or not, will take to the sky. He's going to come crashing down, but it's going to be a little bit too late. Now he'll have to give up on this one, as you can see him go right into the mid lane. And Cloud9 was all grouped up for it.
Okay, I almost thought enemy was going to go for Gold Fury there, but it's pinged out quickly, and Barracuda takes a peek, recognizing that they didn't do it.
Yeah, and you know that's a tough call for him to make, just because the wave was pushed up into his tower. But at the end of the day, he knows that 1,500 gold and all that experience you will gain from the Gold Fury, you can't give it up. Flung back into the tower is Omega, but shield bash right into Awesome to the Max will get him out of there.
Now, Awesome to the Max is actually out trading Omega earlier on, simply because you're going to have the better clear as Sobek. But since then, Sobek took a spill in the fight, and Omega picked up a kill and then assisted. Now that he has the level advantage, he's really abusing it. A 600 gold lead as well, and it's actually more than 600. Man. It's 1,200 because Sobek's been forced to buy that teleport too.
Which is really, really important. Now, I mean, Omega was up as much as 2 levels, and you're seeing it right now. He has a 2-level advantage. But when we do get into the intricacies here of the Sobek versus Bellona matchup, the one thing that's good, as we just saw, is Bludgeon can be interrupted by Sobek, which really helps. He has 2 ways of doing that, but the Tail Whip is pretty much guaranteed.
Can we go back to Bellona real quick? Just half a second. And he's actually maxing it, so it's very important to interrupt that.
It is. And that's really what we've seen a lot. At first, everyone was talking about Scourge, but that was really just like release Bellona.
Yeah, it's been nerfed since then.
Oh,
Before it was like healing for like half your health in a second.
Yeah, and it was like 3 hits, and it worked on towers too. As Chris Pocket, he's trying to get aggressive on Barracuda, but one thing you should know about old Barra, he doesn't like dying, ever.
Hey, he actually has more deaths than Zyros. It's now Zyros who doesn't die.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ah.
He was good until week 6, and then after he died his first time, he was like, all right, I give up. I'm just going to dive into team fights.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'm not buying a ward anymore. I'm going forward. Let's do it. Through space and time comes in. They're looking for the drop ship.
Neith arrow.
That was a great job coming out of Jerby there, stopping Annenster from hitting that rotation.
Yes, that was very important. And they spent a Janus ult for it, right? And normally it'd be like, oh, man, all they did was rotate. But they used through space and time to try and get their team there, meaning it was a trade out of ults.
And so we'll be able to soak up all this experience as now Omega will have this wave pushed all the way up. Looks like he's going right into Frostbound Hammer, which has really become just the standard Bellona build. Sometimes we see a Nickable on there, but regardless of the build and how you want to build Bellona, you always see a Frostbound Hammer on that kit.
It's a very good frontline warrior item. I mean, it has 400 health, 25 power, so it's giving you everything you want as a warrior, and then it has an insane passive where when you hit auto attacks, there's a chance to slow the person and their attack speed. Yep. There is nothing wrong with the item.
Nope. Look at the gold deviation between Omega and Sobek. Awesome to the max is down 800 gold.
No gold fury either.
And there's nothing. I mean, this is just pure. This is just Omega shoving this up, and Annenster knowing the timer, he's going to push all the way up.
And he's gone teleport. It's an 800 gold lead, and awesome to the max.
It's a 1400 gold lead. They're coming from the backside, though. Annenster has the surprise attack, flying or not, in a lot of trouble. Jeff Hinla picks that one up. MLC Stealth has joined the party. Unstable Vortex is good. His auto attacks are better. VDM now trying to take down Stealth. And now he's still there, dropping the portal, blocking off the route. Unstable Vortex hit. Omega goes forward.
No.
And now Barracuda hits it. The snipe off the mark. He can't auto attack, and Barracuda is just going to bully him out of this lane.
Stealth blocked the ult for Bacchus. Jeff Hinla was able to survive that. They used Omega's ult, Eagle's Rally, a ton of protection. Sobek got his full ult off before he died, and still could not finish off Jeff. Awesome to the max now, teleported to a ward, recognizing that C9
Oh,
was
this is such a bad loss for him. Look at this, because Omega's already back in lane. This is going to be damn near that tower, going to be taken.
He will look to split mid camps, but it's going to be a 4-camp split. It's also to the max, rotated for the team, and Cloud9 made sure it was a wasteful rotation.
Yeah, to say the very least. Frostbound Hammer finished. Omega, he hasn't built into teleport, which seems to be a standard on him. He's just like, well, you know, my team likes to rotate, I like to rotate, and, well, I haven't built it yet because I'm winning this lane so dominantly right now. He doesn't feel like it's a priority, which, at this point, you can't argue with him.
Not at all. Taking a look here, Ares, Chris Pocket is a little bit ahead of Jeff, but Jeff has been in the front line, allowing Cloud9 to really focus the carries. Enemy has dumped so much into Jeff, the 2 engagements we've seen. He only died the first one as well, so he barely escapes that one. And although Ares has a lead, the carries on C9 have been getting ahead.
For sure. CDR boots plus the Doom Warp here for Stealth, giving him the damage. Now. Yeah, it's pretty much become the standard. At the beginning, we saw full CDR, but now you just invest the money into Doom Orb, so you have that power with your Unstable Vortexes, plus the ability of just being able to get them all off with this full CDR. It's a pretty gnarly build. Bludgeon clearing that one out, and Awesome to the Max is looking for his opening, and he realizes, well, he doesn't really have an opening. The only thing he can really do is kind of group up the minions, use his hand and tail whip, and now they're trying to set it up. Chris Pocket forced to blink defensively there, and blink. That's a level 1, so that's going to be a 90-second cooldown.
He can't blink in. C9 is baiting this. They're going to walk on him and engage the second he gets out of position. And or they could just take gold.
Chris Pocket's there. Madness is there as well. Jeff Hinla barely off the target there. Intoxicate comes down. Chris Pocket in a lot of trouble. Flying or now gets cleaned up as well. And Barracuda will gladly accept that kill as 3 members of enemy esports are under the tower. As Stealth will throw out the Unstable Vortex. Annenster's lingering on the backside there.
They're getting double pinched. They don't even realize that. Awesome to the Max.
Oh, God.
He's got to pull Omega
He's in trouble.
into the team and Cloud9.
Tail whip was good. The Mez was a little bit better. Great job from VDM, but he is going to be taken out by the poison of Annenster. Awesome to the Max, getting body blocked by Jeff, the Sex Hinla, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm crying.
That is an amazing play.
That was the perfect body block where Awesome to the Max could actually not move anywhere.
I know.
And then just as his pluck was coming off cooldown, Stealth portals him through the ground and then finishes him off with the Unstable Vortex.
12 minutes, 2 tier 1 towers are gone. There have been 13 kills on the board, 11 of which are Cloud9. The charts read 12,000 experience at 12 minutes. Great googly moogly.
I mean, this is kind of how we expected, but Enemy, they have breaths of very good games, even against top teams early on, but they haven't been able to form anything. You take a look at the gold is one thing, but the experience is the key. 4 levels on solo, 3 in jungle, 3 in mid, and then 3 on support.
Stealth now going to go ahead and clear this one out as Omega is still sitting there with 3/4 of the tower health still up, but he has no real urgency of doing it. He's just going for a counter build on him.
He has a 2K gold lead.
Oh,
2,200.
Oh, no.
Omega has been everywhere, and flying or not, he's likely to fall here if the auto attack comes through. Yeah,
now the poison will take him out alone.
Last breath will finish that. Cloud9 is showing why they are currently the best team in North America, arguing AFK. Outside of AFK.
Yeah, I mean, well, we have the pleasure of seeing that at the final day here of the SPL. Final game, final match, charity stream, all of the good things in life in one setting. Cloud9, you know, it's a much different team than we saw in the spring split. And I don't know really what's changed besides maybe just getting a little bit more.
I think them not making land might have been one of the best things to happen to them.
For sure.
They recognized, they won Worlds, they had the hangover, and they recognized.
But even still, man, a hangover or not, I mean, they won $250,000 and are the SWC World Champions. No one across any esports scene ever wins back-to-back championships because everyone always gets lazy.
This is the first time that I think Cloud9 is the favorited team.
Yeah.
Because even going into SWC, Team Solo Mid was favorited over them.
Yeah.
Their sister team was favorited over them. Stealth looks like a DC. We'll probably see a pause coming out here. Yeah, so Stealth DCs, we'll get the pause coming back. They were the favorited team, TSM was, over C9 going in. And even during the spring split, and I said it too, I was like, first week, I was like, I am not giving Cloud9 a 2-0. They're coming off as world champions, but I think Team Solo Mid, they're too good online. This split, they are the favorite. They 2-0 TSM, they are the favorites in North America.
They are, for sure. Cloud9 definitely, well, they found what was missing. And one thing we will look at here because, well, it's pretty intriguing, is the fact that Jeff Hinla has rushed a mid-Guardian male. Why? Well, he's going against 2 hunters.
It's 2 hunters, and it's the fact that, honestly, Thor's auto attacks do chunk you.
They do.
Early on. They swing pretty hard, especially with his passive, giving him 15 power for all enemies around him, up to 45. He's hitting harder than anyone else with auto attacks.
Slow him down there, giving him health as well. Jeff Hinla always reinventing the wheel here. Stealth
could be in a lot of trouble here. He's forced to beads, but he's caught. He could die before he gets his ult off, and Fly It or Nah will get that pick. Stealth getting a little bit too aggressive with his lead there.
Well, Cloud9's just been in the jungle of enemy esports saying, fight us. I dare you.
Yeah, and they even stole that red away. I mean, probably not worth Stealth dying, but they still threw it away.
It happens. Now, checking in on the build here of Barracuda, Transcendence in the Aussie, and now he will be going into Executioner.
Yeah, this is if you're going this is the standard build. Maths out to be very efficient. You go the Transcendence. It doesn't have attack speed, doesn't have pin, but it gives you power. Aussie fills that gap, and then Executioner finishes.
So when we look at these two builds, does VDM have the ability to trade with him right now, or
not now because he's behind? If he had Ickflaw online before that Executioner was there, he'd be able to out-trade Barracuda, especially since he's stacked up. But now he's just so far behind in gold, he can't do anything.
So now so Transcendence, the ability of it, and obviously you just can use more abilities, right, in lane. Are we going to be seeing that more out of Neiths?
Likely. I think there's a couple gods that really spam abilities because it gives you MP5 that are going to utilize it. It's going to be the Medusas, the Neith, anyone who wants to spam their ability as much as they can when it's off cooldown.
Well, Stealth making sure to be a part of every single camp he can. Gold Fury has been started up, awesome to the max. He's moving his way in there. He's looking for the pluck. Cloud9 secures it. The blink in from Chris Pocket's good. The Eagles rallies a little bit better. Chris Pocket waiting on his team. And now Omega is just swinging for the fences. He takes out one. And now we see Annenster clean up. Oh, God. This is bad.
Yeah, Omega kicking up the double kill. Vedium's he'll probably live, but just
he got
barely.
That crit.
Crits coming through. Awesome to the max. Slowed
Look at
by
that slow.
Threshold.
Look at
Gonna
that
get
slow.
the pluck off. Belly flop gonna miss, but the belch of the gods. Jeff Inlow secures a kill. Give the support some love sometime.
Jeff, the
Hey,
sex
what?
is 2, 1, and 8. Stealth is, he just was going
Stealth,
for
what?
everything. Stealth and I actually won our first law event. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
What are you trying to say? please break this down for me.
My mind blanked. I forgot it.
Okay.
We'll move past this.
Cloud9, they won the team fight. They secured the Gold Fury. Barracuda barely living with the Aussie proc. Flying or not, dove him. One thing that was important about that fight, though, is the fact that Chris Pocket couldn't ult into the Gold Fury. And that reason is because he had to use it defensively when Cloud9 invaded his jungle.
Yep. Book of Thoth getting started up here for MLC Stealth. It could be a Soul Reaver, but not really likely here as Eagle Rally forced out defensively. Jeff Hindler getting tossed around like a hacky sack in the middle of it. Unstable Vortex connects with 3 of them, and now Andenster still there. Jeff Hindler trying to provide the PO. Barracuda gets 1. He's now going to try to turn on him. The belch comes out. They fall through the portal. Stealth throwing so much damage now. Chris Pocket is next. They're going to focus him down, and down he goes. D aside, it's 1750. That's a Fire Giant.
That is a fight that enemy wanted to take, but it didn't work out for them. And that was really the power of Stealth. I mean, the power of Janus' ult got the rest of the team in there and allowed Omega to get out safely, and then they ended up winning that
F6.
engagement, and they'll actually win the game off that as well. Enemy, I actually think they've F6 most of their games this season.
Really?
I think that might be
You think they've won, or they've F6 more games than they've flat out lost?
I've seen at least 4. It's been quite a few. They haven't been able to get anything rolling. It's going to be interesting to see. They are now in relegations with that F6.
Well, looking at it though, I mean, their backs were pretty much
it's
against the wall.
It's frustration from enemy.
It's frustration as well as it was 20-3. Now they did actually start off with the first blood there, and it was Chris Pocket who was actually able to secure the first kill here for enemy Esports. So they did have that bounty, giving them a little bit of a lead.
This fight actually looked very good for them, but it turned south. The later it went, and they weren't able to get it. And it was Chris Pocket got the kill. That's why he had the gold lead on Jeff Hidla, but they weren't able to get anything off of it. Ares couldn't continue to be aggressive because Cloud9 was in their jungle the entire game.
Yeah, and you know, Cloud9, you kind of expect this to happen.
Yes.
Cloud9 at the top, enemy Esports yet to find a win.
Yes.
Like a flat win so far in the split. So to expect enemy Esports to kind of come out and win a game, it's not crazy, but you know, you definitely wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah. So let's take a look at jungle control. It's likely that 70% almost went in their favor.
Oof.
Actually, 71. I was pretty close.
You literally finished your sentence
I was
as it was
looking
brought
at you.
up.
I was looking
You
at
weren't.
you. I was too
busy looking at your fake notes. 71% for Cloud9
These are
here.
real notes.
85% of the mid Harpies, 100% of the Gold Furies, and 1-for-1 on the Fire Giant. You can only imagine what those charts would have looked like if the game continued past 18 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, I really want to look at the mana. Awesome to the Max got his first mana, and
It was 7 out of 8.
it was 7 out of 8. He got his first mana. They got 2 speeds. It just Cloud9 showing why they are at the top of the North American standings with AFK.
It's tough, right? And on top of that,
Real notes. I mean, this is Cog vs. Denal. This was a couple weeks ago, but I've got some notes since then.
yeah. Let me see what you got there.
No Yaz. That's for me casting because I said
cool.
yeah a lot.
Oh, nice.
That was a separate one.
Nice. Player of the game. Wait on it.
Who was it?
Really
Everyone?
pick your
MLC
poison
Stealth.
here.
So MLC Stealth took one of the few falls that Cloud9 had, but you saw it really in that last engagement. He was just throwing out unstable vortexes nonstop and hitting them all too.
It's the strength of full CDR plus the Doom Orb.
This is the final fight. This is where he portals his team through, and I don't know if this shows the entire fight,
Look at
but
that.
just they're all grouped up. He hits every one of them.
Yeah, he connects with at least 3 there. And now you can just see his positioning, right? He just kind of lets his front line do everything, and then he just comes in, cooldowns are up, drops the threshold, puts perfect portals down, and is always there to secure the damage. The threshold, probably the most underrated ability in Smite.
Oh, no one underrates it.
They still do.
But the public may underrate it, but Threshold is very, very strong and useful.
I feel like I got a beads threshold.
Sometimes you do. It's that strong. That's why we
It's
see
nuts.
winged blades picked up against Janus all the time.
Janus, I'm glad to see him back in here. I
am
think
not.
he's amazing.
I hate Janus. He is he's so good, but
I love
hate
watching
Janus.
good players play him. That's my thing. I don't have to go against that level of players.
That's true.
I'm not Mr. Adonis.
You're like Silver 4 boys.